I don't actually need to commentate, but I just kind of want to hang out. That's cool. I can
Oh,
just
yeah.
be.
You want TriCast?
Oh yeah.
Or you can try cast. It doesn't matter to me. Sure.
I'm not the
Okay.
biggest fan of TriCast, but you can do it.
Woo!
Oh, let's go!
Yeah, the TriCast. Chat, is this thing on?
Mic check.
Yeah, like, can people hear me? Yes, hello?
I don't know. I keep getting ads every time. I'm gonna go buy a Nissan now.
What was her name in Clearwater? Forgot her name.
Oh,
My bad, my bad.
oh man. We're off to a hot start tonight. This is only the second stream that night.
Yeah, I do want to say welcome everybody to the second game of the night. Officially, I am joined by my name is Luis. I should say that because that's who I am. I am joined by Rydog from Timber's Army and Debit from Steel Army. How are we doing, fellas?
Oh, we're just piecing this together. Just super last minute, but we got it. We're here. Excited to be here. We're doing it. We're gonna try and do a TriCast. So let us know if we're terrible and or let us know if we're great. Debit, how we doing?
Well, yeah, chat, let us know if 2 accountants is too much in the room for the commentary booth. Like, I know that's a
Real.
lot of power already, but sometimes it may just be the right amount. Like, Rydog already kills enough on commentary as it is, but, sometimes you gotta test things out. And that's
Like,
where
yeah.
I come in.
Power levels
I'm
over
leaving.
9,000. Power levels
Yeah,
over
I'm leaving.
9,000.
I feel uncomfortable. I'm leaving.
And for all my college football enjoyers, Ryan Day depreciates land, according to the
That's
college
real.
football game day broadcast.
That's real.
So OSU, don't go there.
That's real. We are Oregon stands in here. I'm not a Duck fan, but I did enjoy it because I hate Ohio State more. So I did enjoy that. But
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy? Oh, Oregon, a Big Ten team.
yeah,
Like,
it doesn't
what?
sound right. It doesn't sound right.
Anyways, football aside.
Yeah, exactly. College football aside, we're here. We're here for Los Verdes versus Emerald City RC, capping off week 6. We've got an LV squad doing some rotations tonight. Midweek or mid-season transfers are in full swing. I know you've seen a couple of them on El Matador already, but now we get to see a new addition here for Los Verdes, it looks like.
Hey, who do we got starting? Do we know?
I think a little bit of a sneak peek for everybody watching the stream. I do not think Palace is going to be playing for Los Verdes. So a David Liss Los Verdes, which I believe will be the first time, or one of the... I don't remember a game that Los Verdes has played in SGL without David, so I am interested to see how they play against ECRC, one of the strongest teams in the league, without, I guess, their best player.
Yeah, it's very rare to see a Palace-less Los Verdes. For all you know, that Palace has been on Los Verdes. I mean, we might even go back to the Los Cinco Doce days. He's been on this team since season 1. He's just a constant force for this team, so not having him in a game, like, look at him having real life stuff to do. Yeah, I'm absolutely fascinated to see what Austin can pull out here.
Pause.
Do we I don't know if Matt. Oh, lovely. I was just about to ask that. Maz, yeah, let's pop over to that league table real quick. And hopefully there's not too much of a delay on this stream so we can see it perfect. Yeah, so here's what we got for the league table. Like Debit said earlier, we got one more match, it looks like, or week 6. Are we just rounding out week 6? Yeah, we are. So locals, I think it's like not surprising that like they're on the top of the table, like just knowing them, but like you would expect to see some other teams up there too. Let's see.
Yeah, let's see, looking back. Los Verdes looking at opportunity. Man, they could be jumping ahead, but Emerald City RC, we're looking at gatekeeper territory between that 5 and 6 spot. I mean, you want to keep a hold of that 6 spot no matter what. So I know who you're rooting for in this matchup, even if it means rooting for somebody that can be, I guess, a little bit further out of reach at that point, right? At least I'd assume.
Yeah, I guess I haven't looked at the table too much. We play, we being Timber's Army plays ECRC and Los Verdes week 10 and week 11. So those will be big matches when we get there. So, I guess I hope both teams lose. Is that can we do that? Can we have like a special exception for that?
You
The
know,
meteor, the meteor exception. Yes.
never seen that happen before, but maybe we can work that out with Epic Games. I'm sure if we wrote a nice letter, they'd be willing to consider it.
And I'm trying to think too, because the game's one thing as well. I think you're right. I think I'm kind of rooting for ECRC, which is kind of weird to say. But I'm trying to think of like the game's one. Do I want it to be like close? Like, do I want it to be like a blowout 3-0, so then their percentage goes, like Verdes percentage goes down? Do I want it to be close to where it's like, kind of staying stable, but then they get 2 points? I don't know. This is where it gets a little funky. Especially with like the format being top 6.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's an important game for both teams, not only for both of these teams tonight, but for the rest of the teams in the league as we look forward to playoffs. That being said, though, Rydog and Debit, I do think we have all teams in the lobby, and I think we are ready,
to go.
I believe.
Yeah, let's. We are ready to go.
Stream, like, let's get it going.
That's right. And just the FYI, you guys will see here in a minute, but we saw it in the lobby that we've got the OG ECRC lineup with Smashly, Toad Death, and Spanky. Not sure where Gojo's at. He's the one coming up from EC Blue from last season to this season. As I don't think Spanky made it into the lobby in time, so we're gonna reset here.
Yeah, a little bit of a technical difficulty there, but if RLCS can have them, we can have them too. It makes us no different from each other.
Yeah,
Same
I wish.
Quality, so.
Can we get like the admin powers? Like, what? I don't know what it's gonna take to get us the admin powers. You know what I mean? Like where you can like pause, right?
Yeah, I wonder how like. I mean, do y'all know how like, for example, like Johnny Boy and like all these like Fear and all these guys that run their like, do they have like special permission from Psyonix to run like their?
They have to, right?
Yeah.
Toad talking
in the. I'll say Toadeth in the chat says false start. Yeah, that's a.
Yeah, it's a 5-yard penalty for whoever jumped.
Here, Rydog, back out real quick.
Okay, backing out.
Yeah, we do apologize, chat, but what would it it wouldn't be a FGL without a little bit of some technical difficulties. So I do want to get Rydog and Debit up. Would you get a little bit of predictions for this matchup, or?
Ooh. Okay. Gosh, you'd think ECRC takes it, right? Maybe I'll say 3-1. I think ECRC tends to start fairly slow. So maybe I'll give him a 3-1.
Yeah, honestly, I've got to go along the lines of Emerald City getting the dub, but I have no idea what to expect out of Triga, this new player that's coming in for Los Verdes. And without Palace, I'm a bit inclined to go ECRC 3-0, but I will gladly eat my prediction as soon as that is killed by Los Verdes winning one game. So at this point, I'm more just looking forward to seeing a Palaceless Los Verdes at this point.
Yeah, obviously, I think tonight's going to be a big first kind of like presentation of Triga on this Los Verdes squad. I would say if he is above anywhere of like diamond level, I think a side of like him, Devin, and Palace would be really cool. But that being said, we're just straight into this thing, and yeah, here we go. Triga's debut in SGL. Let's see how it goes for him.
Oh, it's gonna start well. Oh, almost getting a goal early, and we've mentioned it so many times before. I think actually, Luis, it was you or the original one that said it. We got some more different car choices. We got Bust Insider in the, I think that's the new BMW.
That looks to be the case, and as shiny as it may be looking here for Los Verdes, it doesn't stop the shots here from ECRC. Quick opportunity from Spanky. Quick off the backboard. Smashly bangs it home. What more do you want? Quick start here for ECRC.
And Rydog, you mentioned the OG ECRC lineup. Yeah, no Gojo tonight, but this is the OG ECRC lineup that we've been seeing, that they've been dominating SGL since they've arrived. So yeah, it's good to see the original three back in there for ECRC.
Yeah, I miss Spanky playing. It's, of course, we love Gojo and everything that he's brought to the ECRC team this season, but I do miss watching Spanky play. He's gonna keep the attack going, and yeah, Los Verdes are sitting on the back foot to start, as there's gonna be a double commit, but it's not gonna matter in the end, as Toad Death is gonna smack it home and double the lead.
And just to give more praise to Spanky, I love him because he gives all the old heads a chance to just show off all their skill, and does it quite so with an assist like this to Toad Death. Both him and Smashly looking for the goal, but Toad Death ends up coming up with it. 2-0 here to Emerald City.
Yeah, and you just wonder that Devin's going to have to be the carry here for Los Verdes if they're going to have a chance in this game. As we see his dad hit a ball not to the most ideal spot in the map, but yeah, Devin, I'm expecting big things from him if we're going to see Los Verdes have any sort of chance of even getting one game in this series.
Yeah, I think it's going to be big for Los Verdes, theoretically both teams, but definitely for... Okay, well, I was going to say, you need to be able to follow up your passes, follow up your touches, and whether it's yourself following it up or a teammate, as you see Smashly connecting with Toad Death, the offensive duo for ECRC is going to give him a third, but that's going to be super important for Los Verdes to stop this bleeding a little bit. You know, you saw Devin a few times try to air dribble out of the back, but ends up just losing it. And so can they find each other on these passes or connect to multiple touches together to keep possession?
That's going to be one of the biggest things for these teams upcoming, especially seeing Triga into this lineup. Like, how are you going to transition out of your own zone at this point? Because, you know, ranked is one thing, but playing SGL, we're ready to attack in the middle no matter, like, where you're at this point. So these calculated passes out, we're going to need to see a lot of that here from Los Verdes just to even get the momentum going for them in this game one.
Yeah, and in particular for me, I'm just having my camera on Triga. I'm just super interested to see the gameplay that we see out of the new Los Verdes player, because obviously tonight is going to be pretty handily in the favor of ECRC, at least from what we've seen so far, but I'm just kind of interested in Los Verdes' rest of their season with a full lineup with Palace involved. So so far I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Triga. I think he's been relatively decent, but yeah, it's going to be always going to be tough in your first SGL game no matter what.
And of course, we don't know how much these guys have actually played with each other, you know, of course, over the course of the week and over the course of the season, just kind of in the off times as well. Because I think you're seeing a few team bumps here and there. You're seeing some double commits here and there as well. And like I said, that might be just due to some of the lack of chemistry so far. But hopefully they can gain a little bit of that back here at the rest of game one and throughout the series.
They've seen the game go on, and though this goal is going to go in for Emerald City, you start to see a little bit of pressure build up here for Los Verdes. Good counterattacks going, but whenever you're still going up against ECRC, the transition play is going, the passing plays are downfield, look for that player up in front, and they've just done it again.
Yeah, you do wonder too sometimes when your first SGL game is against a team of ECRC's caliber that, like, you know, you might get a little bit discouraged as we see another team bump out of LV. Yeah, I hope that's not the case for Triga, because yeah, if ECRC's your first game and you're missing your best player, yeah, it's not going to be the most fun experience when you have the likes of Toad Death and Smashly ringing in all the goals. So hopefully this first game is knocking off the cobwebs sort of game for LV.
Yeah, absolutely, but you got to give the props where it's due, and that's the classic ECRC offense, just firing on all cylinders, even if it's not really their Season 8 starting lineup. Of course, like we mentioned before, this was their kind of OG starting lineup for the last few seasons, I will say. But, of course, with Gojo not being here, they go back with Spanky, but doesn't look like to be much change, as they, of course, have the is that going to be soon to 5-0 lead
gosh.
over LV?
And just another breakup in midfield. It's what Smashley is probably one of the best at doing. You see a ball bank off the sideboard? Yeah, it better be ready to follow that one up. That's a quick challenge. Nobody back for LV.
Yeah, you gotta wonder where any sort of offense is going to come from for LV. It just seems like this is going to be one of those games that they see
Whoa!
Spanky. Wow, that's got to be... I'm so curious to see how fast this is. Let's see. 85 mph. That's pretty fast, guys. I don't know if anybody have any of the kilometers. I don't know if we have any,
I do.
metric fans in the in the booth.
Got some 136 for you just on the translation there.
Yeah, well, we don't...
Unbelievable.
I was gonna say we typically don't use those here on the Freedom Channel, but oh my God!
Oh
no! Bust Insider almost gets a LV on the board, but yeah, it's ECRC's doing their thing, guys. They're rolling.
Well, they're kind of sitting here on the back line, but nobody's going to go for LV, and it's going to allow ECRC to clear out. I have noticed too, there's been a few times when the boost has just not been there for LV. Maybe to make saves like that, as Toe Death is going to get a 7th. And I think we can confidently say that game 1 is in the bag.
Yeah, you say ECRC tend to start slow. If this is them starting slow, I am kind of worried if this will translate here into game 2. I hope that's not the case here for LV. But you know, sometimes you just need to shake off those game 1 jitters, especially new teammate in the lineup, new roster, you know, sort of just building that chemistry with your team. Really just hoping to see that LV takes this into game 2, bring a little bit of confidence to the table.
Yeah, rough first game for Trigger here. I've been, like I said, I've been keeping an eye on him. I think he's going to be a good addition down the line, but ECRC, just too much here, guys. A very, very comfortable 7-0. Oh, we get a Brazil!
Brazil, let's go!
It happened.
Devin on the board, and yeah, the classic Brazil. We love to see that. Any Rocket League fan likes to see in a blowout game. Give us a Brazil, man. Let's see it.
I think Toe Death missed that on purpose, just to get to the Brazil. So, yeah, yeah, like a good man. And yeah, it's gonna be ECRC. Of course, this is a best of 5. They take the 1-0 lead.
This is a game.
1-0 lead here now. Wait, are we having a substitution here for Emerald City here?
Uh-oh.
Oh, he's in.
Oh, he's here!
Guys,
oh.
Guys, this is one of those series where if stats are your thing, hey, you are farming this series, baby. give me the goals, give me the stats. Let's get those up, man.
Interesting. So we didn't know where Gojo was, but he's magically appeared, and it looks like it's going to be Smashley Spanky Gojo in for the next round, unless Toad Death comes back into the lobby, but I doubt it. But yeah, if Debit, you were the one that mentioned it. If this is slow for ECRC, I think LV and theoretically the rest of SGL should be fairly worried if 7 goals is considered slow.
See, now I'm just hopeful that like if you make a sub, maybe it'll take them the same amount of slowness in this next game upcoming, where it doesn't like they don't like aggress any further or progress any further on the goal front. Because ultimately, I really do want to see LV put some work in here, but seeing Gojo on the field doesn't get me all that inspired if you're LV.
Yeah, and here we go, guys. Game number 2. Let's see if LV can put up a better fight, or if we're just see ECRC continue to roll here. Gojo's in the lobby, guys. Oh, I'm probably lagging. Am I lagging? Yeah, I'm absolutely lagging.
Well, for the internet, baby.
Yep, the lag. The Ron DeSantis internet, guys, strikes again. I do apologize.
So far, nothing crazy going on. Just a few plays off the backward for ECRC. As Spanky's gonna get this one, it's not gonna find the upper corner. He'll keep it into the attack though, and Bust Insider's gonna get it clear. So stalemate through 40 seconds, which of course is a very good sign if you're LV.
Absolutely, and Devin's already going up for the aerials. trying to inspire some confidence here in the team, maybe get an opportunity early. Doesn't get the touch that you want, but seeing Trigo want to go for these extensions, try to get the transition play out, honestly gives me a little bit of hope. We just need to see some good touches come in defense here for LV now. That'll be the critical sort of, I guess, litmus test here to see how the rest of this game might go, because it's still kind of like feeling each other out. But now that I say that, the goal has come through.
I think it's safe to say that this game is David's fault. As we see, a fantastic goal by Spanky. Yeah, I think we can fairly place some blame on Palace here for what's occurring on the field. But 1-0 to ECRC, Spanky on the board, and yeah, we still got more than half the game to go, and ECRC just, they're rolling.
Yeah, there's Spanky times 2. He's gonna get another right on the kickoff. And I was just about to say too, we haven't really seen the trademark ECRC, demo physical play. Not that they really needed it, but I'm intrigued to know. I wonder why, they haven't brought that out yet, just cause.
Our lesson chat. Oh my god. Sorry.
I'm gonna ignore that comment. But going back to the physical play, I mean, even though Smashley was granted a demo over here, he's still lurking, waiting for a physical sort of play to happen over here. Like, ECRC can employ it, but as you alluded to, it's not entirely needed for this squad at the moment. I'm kind of waiting to see how... Wait,
oh
is
god.
it...
Oh, that's just in! What just happened?
I switched POVs for a little bit, and I was back in the defensive end. I didn't know it would end up getting that free.
I think Gojo thought somebody was behind him, and Smashley turned maybe for boost, thinking Gojo had it, and Bust Insider says, thank you very much, we're getting LV their second goal of the series.
Yeah, and I was looking to see if you get a little bit more out of Bustin over here, because that's usually their, physicality, their presence, one that's not afraid to throw the body out for, any reason whatsoever. So you might as well just send him in, do some damage, let Devin and Triga take over, just as we see here.
Triga on the board in SGL. Congratulations, Triga, your first goal in SGL. And man, it couldn't have come, to be honest, guys, at a better time for LV. They've tied up a game in which I didn't think they had any business being in, but LV has turned it around here, and it's 2-2.
It just goes to show that you can't have off days in SGL and off moments, right? Because the teams, no matter the team, it doesn't matter where they are on the table or anything, are going to be able to capitalize on those misplays. And of course, yeah, just a few misplays from ECRC is going to get LV back into this game, and hopefully maybe some momentum on their side as Trigger once again opening his account and getting the attack going for LV.
And hopefully that just ends up causing that butterfly effect here for LV, bringing confidence. Devin saying, nah, get out of the way. It's time for me to roll over here. Triga, you may have the ball going right now, but we got to get this ball moving. Boston looking to cause a little bit of an opportunity here. Quick little L from ECRC not going, though. And LV are pushing right now. It's really impressive to see from this team so far.
Yeah, you have to think, as good as LV are playing this game, the foot has been absolutely let off the gas pedal from ECRC here. It feels like whenever they want to, if they just kind of dial it up a little bit, they can absolutely get a couple goals here. And I'm looking to see that from ECRC here, because, the longer you leave the game tied, and there's the commentator's script, but Spanky again, just spanking the ball.
That was a dismissal.
Oh yeah, he pissed all over that. It is 3-2.
Odds
To ECRC.
So kind of the unsung hero is what I like to call Spanky. Just typically known for being a third man and kind of just hanging back and allowing Smashley and Toad or in this case Gojo to kind of do what they want on offense and still have that defensive cover, has actually been the offensive prowess here in game 2, bagging a hat trick. And I like to see it. I like to see him go forward because we know what he can do, just like he's going to give an assist to Smashley, who puts it home and doubles the lead.
I say the assist man turned hat trick hero. Back to the assist man, because you know what? You gotta spread the love around. That's just simply how ECRC works. They're not a single man show. They gotta spread the wealth around.
Yeah, and Smashley is one of the better players in terms of redirects like that that I've seen in SGL. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but he's really good at angling his cars in ways to get really good redirects, either for passes or goals. And yeah, that was exactly what happened there.
I would 100% agree with that, and that's why he really enjoys staying up and not fully rotating back, because you typically have like a player like Spanky, right, who's just kind of sitting in the back and waiting for like a booming clear, and so he's allowed to stay up and steal boost and kind of go for those redirects. And yeah, he's really good at doing those, and that's what makes him so frustrating to play, because he'll just be in awkward spots just like that, and he will put it away. And so Smashly, following Spanky's hat trick, Smashly bags 2 of his own, and another insurance goal for ECRC.
Another insurance goal, another awkward spot. You want to play it off the wall, but Smashly's just like, nope, I'm ready for this right away. No matter what you're about to set up for defense, I'm just going to be right there ready for the shot. And that's just patented ECRC right there. Yeah, I would agree. Smashly one of the like absolute best at redirects. Him and Toad cause me great pain watching them pass every time, because I'm going, all right, which one of them is actually going to hit the ball this time? Because both of them can absolutely destroy a team using that exact same maneuver every time. We say that, another backboard, another goal here for ECRC.
Yeah, Smashly finishing off his hat trick. Smashly's been on fire so far in his first 2 games, and that just kind of feels like icing on the cake for the way ECRC's been performing these first 2 games. And man, you you really feel for LV here. They put up a better fight, guys. They really did, but in the end, like I said, it just feels like ECRC. Oh, what a crazy redirect.
How fast is that gonna be? 72.
Oh, only 72. But it just felt like, guys, ECRC just, you know, kind of cruising 3 minutes into the game, and they just decided to turn it on in the end, and just they have that extra level, right? As being one of the top teams in SGL, you can always have that extra level, and yeah, we've seen that so far from ECRC. Yeah, here in game 2.
It's back to the drawing board for LV. Yeah, there's a bunch of positives that you can take from this game, and of course their first goal coming from an ECRC mistake, and so maybe that comes, you know, the talk is, hey, how can we create more mistakes? You know, of course ECRC do not tend to make a lot of mistakes, but can you capitalize on those when they do happen, just like Bust Insider did for their first goal? But yeah, it's back to the drawing board, because ultimately you can't give up 7 goals in a game and expect to win.
Nah, not through 2 games either. Capitalizing on your small mistakes is literally how a team in SGL can end up getting the grimiest points that you possibly can out of a series, and how some teams end up becoming playoff teams in the end. Looking at these opportunities, I mean, ECRC have kind of been, I don't want to say lax, but there have been opportunities to cause a bit more pressure down in their end, where if you send somebody, maybe like Triga, down on that end, and you have Devin waiting in middle, there is potential for an offensive opportunity. I've liked them best whenever I've seen Boston go for 50s or just throwing it into the corner. I've seen it work for LV. It's just, I think we just need to see it more consistently now.
Yeah, I've really been impressed with Triga, especially in this game too. I feel like he settled down in his first SGL game, and I'm actually just super curious to see what that Devin Triga Palace lineup looks like going forward. But here we go, guys. Game 3. Let's see if Los Verdes can get on the board here, or if ECRC is going to have a very commanding sweep to finish out Week 6.
We're going to see another swap here. It's going to be Toad Death coming back in for Smashly. Smashly said, I got my hat trick, I'm out of here. And so, looks like ECRC are experimenting with some lineups.
In a series like this, it's definitely possible, given the circumstances right now. I mean, we've seen 2 lineup combinations, and both have scored 7 goals. Granted, one of them did give up 2, but whenever you're looking at these lineups, you got to feel confident no matter what lineup you're throwing at here if you're ECRC.
Getting my settings ready to go. Is once again we're starting out with ECRC on attack, and it's good patience from Gojo. He's gonna go for a flip reset. It's not gonna be on target. But once again, here comes Toad off the ceiling. It's gonna go waterfall straight down, but Triga is there on the goal line. So I'm interested to see if there's different strategies for ECRC depending on the different lineups, right? Like depending on the player profiles, if you will. Like Gojo, very solo player, Toad Death just hitting balls into goals like he normally does. Like, wonder if they're gonna try and experiment with that. But so far the results are still the same. It's gonna be an ECRC lead.
Yeah, the results will still maintain the same. I like that you bring up Toad just hitting balls. I mean, honestly, we've seen Toad sort of be the everyman here for ECRC. Can control the play, can slow the play, can speed up the play whenever. You see it right here, right now. Slow little dribble, has all the space, takes the time, and says, all right, there's a goalie just stuck in net. I can just shoot a quick shot, and boom, we're up 2-0 now. Quick succession.
Yeah, that's really good from Toad, noticing that Bus Insider was just standing there on the goal line, kind of a little bit frozen, and allowing himself to give himself the best opportunity to score, which was to play it slow and to put it behind the goalkeeper. As now we see some pre-jumps and some crossfield passes from ECRC, so of course they're feeling confident. And here we go with the back pass to Gojo. Yeah, they're firing on all cylinders right now.
And do a little bit of a reset over here. Boston trying to go for a 50 over here. This is kind of like what I was talking about whenever it comes to the last game. I wanted to see LV put a little bit more pressure on, but they're starting to, go back into retreat mode a bit. They're letting a lot of these shots come by, and Spanky can just throw a shot on, drag out all the defense, and then boom, rebound. You don't even need mechanics from Gojo at this point.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's going to be a double commit from Trigger and Bus Insider, and Toad that's going to complete his hat trick in game 3. And yeah, I agree. I think for LV, if they can kind of work on these things in the back end, and obviously you still have 3 minutes left in this game to try some things out and get the offense rolling of, yeah, can you get your players more aggressive and not into this retreat mode? I think very often you see SGL teams just over the course of the season just be afraid of some of those teams and maybe go back into this like tuck mode of just, hey, we just need to play, on the back foot and just make sure we don't get scored on, when that's not necessarily the case. Toad Death is just playing with the defense with a beautiful backboard double touch.
Oh my gosh. And as soon as I thought Gojo was gonna get a double, Toad's like, no, this is how you double tap. You hit it like this and then like this. That's how you score those. Oh my goodness. Even through all that, Gojo looking for points on the board. Not quite finding it through goals, but does get the assist, gets past that, 100-point like threshold, you want to say, for most Rocket League players entering these games.
Oh, there we go. He's on the board now.
Yep.
There we go.
Your entire talking point. We're back to another goal.
It's commentator's curse. It's classic of we talk about a player. Gojo hasn't scored yet, and then pow, he gets on the score sheet. And yeah, it's quickly becoming a rout here. It's 5-0 for ECRC, and we're just past halftime. So, according to my math skills, as this is going to be a 6, as Gojo is going to get another one to his name. But yeah, according to my math skills, we're going to have more than 7 goals, which means I think it means that my statement made earlier of ECRC starting slow is still intact if they can get more than 7.
I think you're right here at this point. I hope they're not watching the stream and gonna try to commentators curse you by just not scoring another goal the entire game.
Maybe. Probably.
Thought Gojo had that read? Nope, that is not the case this time. We're going a bit wide right now. Yeah, looking at ECRC, we talked about a potential stat padding night for them. It is kind of a nothing but that at this point. Interesting to see what Toad Death's stat sheet might look at the end of this. It may be putting ECRC in the Hall of Fame just for 1 week at this point.
Yes, Gojo's gonna complete his hat trick after. I'm sure they're watching the stream, and I'm sure they heard us talking smack about Gojo not getting a goal, and they said, "Hey, get this man a hat trick in this game." And so there you go. You got 2 hat tricks, one from Toad, and one from Gojo, and then of course you had Spanky and so that means every player on the roster's had a hat trick in this series, I believe. Somebody can fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure Smashing Spanky had one in game 2, and then of course Toad and Gojo here in this game 3. So It's 7-0, so one more goal, and my prediction is correct. Or I guess my statement is still correct.
They're looking good right now. LV may have an opportunity over here. And now that we're, 7-0 in, we're at a goal left. Gojo, oh, thank goodness Devin is there to take that one away. It's go for broke. Wow, I should stop talking. ECRC with their 8th, officially confirming that they start slow enough to where Rydog is correct.
Yeah, thanks guys. It took 2 games. 2 games of 7 goals, and that apparently was slow for them. And so now game 3 being 8. Like I said, my statement is correct, but this is scary. This is scary for the rest of the league. I mentioned it before. I'm not sure if it was officially on stream or not, but my team TA plays them in week 10. And frankly, I'm a little nervous going into that game because of this result. I mean, it's quick maths here: 22 goals to 3 against. Somebody can. Debit probably has. I should have Excel open to do the math for me, but I don't. But that's insane.
I believe you. Yeah, what? 1 in game 1, Brazil, and then 2 in the next game. I think the quick maths are correct.
So just unbelievable. And in 3 games as well, you see 22 goals, in a series, and you're like, okay, that's probably like a best of 5, best of 7, or goes to 5, goes to 7 at least. As there's going to be a 9th coming in from Spanky, getting on the score sheet. Surprisingly, he only has 1 goal in this game, but yeah, 23 now to 3 in 3 games is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's kind of insane to this point because, ECRC, for all the love that we gave them this game, Gojo still has 1 category missing from that. He doesn't have a save. So I think this should just be an L if Gojo doesn't end up getting the save. So, but all jokes aside, a dominant performance from Emerald City. And oh boy.
Yeah, there's not a lot to say about, a lot more we can say about ECRC. They were firing on all cylinders and really showing us again why they are one of the top teams in the league. And of course for LV, you got to go back to the drawing board. Of course you can make up your excuses or reasons or whatever, having a new lineup and all that sort of stuff, of course. But at the same time, gotta in the off season, or not the off season, that's not the right word, but in the off days of not playing, make sure that they can get some chemistry going. And I think you saw a little bits of that. Of course, in game 1, you saw a little like double commits from Trigga and Bust Insider, even Devin getting on some of those double commits. But over the course of those remainder of the game 1 and then game 2 and 3, you saw less and less of those. So if they can continue to clean some of those things up, like I said, maybe try and follow some of their touches so they're able to keep possession a little bit more, they'll be in a better spot. But yeah, it is going to be very, very dominant for the boys from Seattle.
Very dominant for them, and honestly, I wish under better circumstances we could have had a better intro series for Trigga here, but you got your feet wet. Honestly, there's nowhere else to go but up from here. You got a taste of what being with your teammates are like, the father-son duo. You should be expecting a Palace to come back into your lineup, maybe get a few games under with Devin and Palace. That team honestly has a lot of solid players on it as it is. So if you bring that into the fold, we could be looking at something like a playoff push here for Los Verdes, because they've been slipping down the standings so far, and it's only going to keep pushing them down.
Yeah, on paper, it's a good team. You've got 3, individually great players now, and so, of course, it just comes with that chemistry of can you put it together over the course of a series to give yourself a series win, if not games, because of course games are still important. So fortunately for Los Verdes, they won't be gaining any points here, but it is going to be +4 for Emerald City RC. We'll bring up the standings a bit after, but first we do have an interview from ECRC, Mr. Gojo. We're gonna get him in here. There he is, Mr. Gojo. Congrats on the sweep.
Thank you. How are y'all today?
We're doing great. Luis is lagging, but he's back.
Thank you.
one thing to mention first is we were doing the quick math, and I guess let me see, 14 plus 9. What is that? 23 goals for to 3 against. I guess talk to me about the attack. You guys looked really, really good.
I think, especially with the OG3, they just have so much chemistry. And especially with them being somewhat new with some of their players, kind of hard to battle against the chemistry that we have. I don't think I would want to play it as a new player. But yeah, I'd say we're just heavy offensive. We go in as confident as we can, just having a good time, and we play what we can.
Saying given that you're going against new player Intriga there for Los Verdes, you're probably looking at your past series going, yeah, we've been pretty comfortable against them so far. You're on this ECRC squad right now. You do all this rotation. Is there anything that you feel more solidified in with the team? Do you feel like you're like, yeah, this is going to be like our 3 moving forward? Or is this more like we can kind of roll out whatever squad we want at this point? We're just them.
Tonight it was sort of just those 3 were on, and warming up together before I was even on. And then it was just kind of see how it plays out, and if we're having a good time, then we'll start switching people in and out.
Yeah, fair enough. Is there, so kind of going off of that, is there a starting 3 that you would say, or is it very much you guys like to adapt to, the teams you're playing week to week?
I'd say it's more adapt. We kind of go with the flow, especially when the matches come around, and we see what fits and what doesn't, and we'll go from there.
Last question I do want to ask you. How chaotic are the comms with Smashly in that channel?
It's actually not chaotic at all. We have our moments where we're laughing and just having a good time, but for the most part, our comms are pretty solid. Sometimes they're even quiet just because that chemistry is there. So,
wow, that's
cool.
Actually scary.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Gojo, once again, congrats on the sweep and the win. That's plus 4 points for you guys jumping up the table. Do you have anything to say to Twitch chat / the world before you go? Floor is yours.
Y'all just have a good night and stay safe, y'all. Appreciate it.
Yes, thanks, Gojo. Have a great night, man.
Thank you, Gojo.
Y'all too.
Take care, brother.
And that is Gojo from ECRC. Yeah, it's interesting, right? What he's saying about them being adaptable, week to week with their lineup. That's what makes them so, scary, seeing the different iterations tonight. But then also like the comms thing, like you're telling me that's not a super comm heavy ECRC, like putting them in a super comm heavy like chat, like full tryhard, quote unquote, like that would be even more scary.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to dig in on that question. That wasn't even like coming necessarily from like a player angle. That kind of felt like that caster like wanted to feel like the vibe of the team and whatnot. And because I've watched ECRC just like comm videos doing what they do in general, and I've like heard a lot of back and forth. Now, granted, it's mostly Smashly yelling at the end of the day, but I've just heard their comms just sort of go back and forth. But hearing the vibe of, yeah, we're just kind of in sync. Sometimes nothing else happens. That's, yeah, if you're going up against a team like that, I'd be worried.
Yeah, I absolutely would be as well. And yeah, Smashly typically is the comm heavy one in the chat or in their Discord calls, I will say. But yeah, that is a scary ECRC team. And so let's take a quick look. Let's start with the not the standings, the what's that called? The recap of the week. If we could quickly bring that up just to see what happened during week 6. Of course, we had some games earlier today as well, but we'll just kind of jump down the list here. Debit, I will start with you. Of these week 6 matches, is there anything that kind of stands out to you, or did everything kind of go as planned?
I'd like to point out the fact that we had, what was it, 3, back-to-back days of streams where they were all at 11:30 Eastern. All ended the same way, 3-1. All had double tap highlight goals to showcase for all these teams. It felt like we were just going through deja vu. So I hate to lump those all together, but I do want to highlight El Matador in this instance because this mid-season transfer has kind of worked in a lot of ways for them. They brought basically a whole new roster to the table they can pull from at any point. It's insane how much talent they can pull from, and it worked out really well in their first series, giving Caesar and Luis, noted terrible players, some added help, and taking it to the top team in SGL of the locals 3-1. So now that team is bolstered up, the top seemed to get better. That's the series where I'm just going, oh, we're shaking things up now.
Yeah, that was actually the one that I was going to highlight too, just kind of looking down this list of you see locals, they start off really hot, undefeated, and yeah, El Matador doing some mid-season transfers and giving themselves 4 points there. And so locals, I'm curious I'm going to go watch that game back just to see how much of it was, these transfers from El Matador, or was it just like an off day for locals? And so much of SGL and of course Rocket League just in general, if you do watch even the pro levels, that it's just how you are on the day, right? It doesn't matter if you're a G2 squad or whoever was at the bottom of the world championships. Like, you just have to be on that day. And so was it mainly just EM being on, and these new transfers are working out really well, and or maybe was it locals having not their best performing day, and so that's what led to that victory. So I'm curious about that. But yeah, kind of everything going more or less as planned as you look down at the rest of the week. And now, Maz, if we could bring up the league table to see kind of what we're looking at after 6 weeks. And of course, just to highlight some things, some teams have 5 games, some teams have 6. We do have 11 total weeks of play with a bye week in the middle. So some teams, of course, have already had that bye, which means they're going to have 1 game less. But of course, yeah, you see local still sitting at the top, and Black Army, they're trailing just behind them, 21 to 20 points. That's really, really close. But a big W for EM over locals is going to propel them up into 3rd place. And of course, this match for ECRC that just happened, propelling them to 17 points, tied with Rebellion. And so those top 5 spots are really, really close, within really 1 series of each other, because of course the max points you can get per series is 4. And so of course you have a small jump there between Timbers Army and Rebellion, and of course the rest of the league. So it is going to be a real battle for that 6th spot.
As much as I like to highlight the fact the locals are going to be on their bye week, so they can't move anywhere this upcoming week. So we could see a bit of a shift just on that alone. Like, El Matador can surpass them, Black Army, ECRC can probably pass them based on games 1%. I think that's one thing to sort of look at the top, but I'm not gonna lie, I am an absolute fiend for teams fighting for their lives down in that playoff area, that 5-6 spot. Things are so open down there, and the fact that we still see KC Cauldron down there to this point gives me worry for this entire playoff battle as it is. They have their bye week. They are ready to sort of just make their way back in. They've got so many solid players on their team. I know for a fact they're getting a noted addition back to that squad that is going to be, decimating with some double taps along with known teammate Smitty over there. So,
oh boy,
watching all of these results shake up here, it's get as much points as you can. Play everything to 5. If you're a team not expecting to, get that result immediately, grind out those wins. Get the 1-0, the 2-1s, the ones where you don't score any highlight reel goals whatsoever. Get the dirty 50, because every point is just going to be absolutely critical going down this stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you can kind of see that with the 6-7 spots, Timbers, Army, and Los Verdes. Los Verdes only having 1 win on the season, but they are right there in 7th due to them, winning games in the series that they eventually lose, right? And so that propels them up the table into that 7 spot. So, the record and the games won doesn't necessarily tell you the whole story, but those points can definitely do that as well. And just a few things that I want to highlight before we wrap up here. Just a few of the notable matches next week. Yes, we do have locals on the bye. Debit, you did mention that earlier. So yeah, those top spots are gonna shift around just a little bit. Of course, we've got us two playing each other: Steel Army versus Timbers Army.
Absolutely.
Black Army ECRC. That's a 2 versus a 4. That'll be really good. Let's see. We got LV and KC there, kind of battling for that 7-8 spot. Who can propel themselves maybe up into that 6 spot, right? And then some of the other matches: EM versus EC Blue, Rebellion versus Defiance, and I think that's all of them I just said. Yeah, so another full slate coming to you next week, where we can still see lots of movement. They're definitely in the top 5, and then of course in that kind of bottom 6 area where we can see lots of things happening. But I think that is going to wrap us up for the stream today. One last time, ECRC getting a quick sweep over the Los Verdes. Debit, do you have anything to add before we kick it back?
Nothing else from me. Yeah, just thank you to everybody for tuning in. Sort of these 2 impromptu streams that we were kind of having to pull together last second. A shout out Maz for all the work on the streams. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the TriCast opportunity. We don't get to experience that too often, so it was interesting to be in that sort of realm. And even though we did lose one of our casters at one point, always happy to share the booth with you all and to just sort of be with you here in chat, read all your comments. And yeah, that's all I got from me.
That sounds great. Yes. Thank you to Maz on the back end. Thank you for Debit and Luis. I know we lost Luis, but thank you for hopping in and doing the TriCast. I think it actually worked pretty well. So, but that's going to be it for us here in the booth. Thank you so much for tuning in, and stay tuned in the Discord for all the matches next week. We'll see you then.